Steel City. Is everybody ready to go? Let's proclaim the greatest radio show.
Welcome, fans, to another segment of The Spread. I'm your host, Jim Sella. I'm in studio today with J-Dash, Big Easy, and JK47. 47,
What?
have you shot anybody since the last time we did the show?
Negative.
No? All right. Well, I just figured, I seen you cleaning your gun the other day. I thought you were just trying to wipe fingerprints off of it.
It's a great way to keep your gun in shape.
Please believe. Well, two guys who do not have a gun for an arm come in at number 15, a spring battle for the D-backs. Who are these losers, Dash?
Tuffy, Gosewisch, and Gerald, Laird for the D-backs. They also had Oscar Hernandez battling, but he's never played above high A, and he's expected to miss 6 to 8 weeks now with a broken hand or wrist. It's kind of unclear which one it was.
You're not throwing a lot of people out at second with a broken hand.
But listen, Gosewisch is 31, and he has 174 career ABs. He has a
31, that's it?
Yeah, he has
That's
a 213 career average with a 225 on base. So what are you going to get out of this guy? Probably not much. He was Miguel Montero's backup last season. He plays for the Cubs now. I don't see anything from this guy. But then there's Gerald Laird. He's 35, 204 last season, no jacks in 152 at-bats. What are you going to get from this guy?
What are they battling for? The ability to carry each other's jock strap? Because neither one of them are going to do anything out on the field. This is pathetic.
Yeah, Arizona's in trouble.
Arizona's just waiting for big-time power prospect Peter O'Brien to come up. 34.
O'Brien, eh?
That would be correct. The luck of the Irish. 34 home runs last year between single A advance and double A in 2014. He has 66 career home runs, in 1,058 at-bats. So, this is a guy that's, you're going to want to keep an eye on, especially come mid-season even possibly, if this guy's not up already.
Yeah, he's one of those power hitters that is probably going to hit for a low average. He hit pretty decently in the minors, but they don't expect him to have a very high average, but he's going to be a pretty good power hitter if he can stick behind the plate.
So when Tuffy and Laird both strike out, it's Mr. O'Brien's job.
It looks like it, yeah.
Is he a ginger?
Let's move on. That's enough with the D-bags and Kirk Gibson. Number 14, Jarrod Saltalmacchia.
Just reminds me of Hector Salamanca from Breaking Bad. Remember him, Easy? The old dude in the wheelchair?
Oh, yeah.
He was fun.
Devious old gangster.
Saltalmacchia is not the greatest hitter. He has a 242 career average, 220 last season, 11 jacks and 373 at-bats isn't terrible. He played in 114 games last season. Concussion sidelined him for half of June. He never fully recovered. He was hitting 237 before that, hit just 207 after that. He strikes out too much. That's his biggest thing. Look, 373 at-bats, 143 Ks.
Keep your eye on the ball. Maybe he should get some LASIK.
He can draw a walk. 55 and 373 at-bats, isn't bad.
That's why his on-base percentage was 100 points higher than his batting average last season. That's what makes him a little bit useful still.
So, he's a little bit selective. He still has some power, double-digit home runs each of the last 4 seasons. Career high in 25. The lowest total being last year at 11. I still think he could be probably like a 20 home run guy, possibly.
You got to pick his average up a little bit. First of all, he's a catcher, so he's not going to be playing every day. And when you hit 235 not playing every day, it's going to be tough to get over 20 home runs.
Dude's a concussion case. Might as well cut him.
Number 13, Rocky Mountain High. They got a threesome. They got
3 dudes playing one position.
They got a threesome out
you
here
suck.
at the Rockies organization.
Listen, they have Wilin Rosario, who was their catcher last season. He hit 13 jacks, only 267 with a 305 on base. They're not really sold at him behind the plate anymore. He's not that good of a defensive catcher. And if he's not going to hit the 28 home runs like he hit in 2012 or the 21 in 2013, they're just not going to go with him. So they brought in Nick Hundley this season over from, it was Baltimore he played the last half of last season with, but he was mainly a Padre most of his career. He's not the greatest hitter, but he's a great defensive catcher, and they'd rather just go that direction.
Is this McKenry, the dude that played for the Pirates?
Yeah,
He
look at it.
sucks.
That's him.
Sucks.
No, he was a little scrapper.
168 at-bats last season, 315 average, 398 on base, 8 home runs. He's probably not going to make the team unless they can find a deal to trade Rosario. But I've always liked McKenry.
You would, because he was a Pirate, and everybody that puts on that uniform you think is God.
No, but
He was a solid bucko, whatever he was
Yeah,
here.
he contributed. He did his thing.
but
Wasn't
back
the
to
best
Hundley.
defensively, but
Back to Hundley real quick. He had 243 last year, 6 jacks and 218 at bat. So he's not useless with the bat. It's just his defense that carries him. And he had a pretty decent year in 2013 where he hit 13 home runs. So maybe he can get back up around there if he gets enough playing time. I don't see it in Colorado, though, because you're going to want to play Rosario some if he's on your team because he has that power.
Play all three of them at once, maybe somebody can throw somebody out.
Number 12.
Carlos Ruiz from the Phillies. Guy hit 252 last year with a 347 on base, 6 jacks, 31 RBIs, only 381 at bats. Not really a whole lot of at bats, but pretty good stats, I guess. It's number 12 worthy. When you're 36, what else are you going to get out of somebody?
yeah, solid veteran.
Yeah, he is a solid veteran. In 2012, he had 16 jacks and 68 RBIs, 372 bats. That was really an outlier season for him, though. That was the only season he hit double-digit home runs. So you're not going to get too much power out of him. He's not going to drive in many runs. He's not going to score many runs. He's just a pretty decent catcher. He is 36 now, though, so it's at the back end of his career.
He's got it on lockdown behind the plate. Him and Ryan Howard, dude, best 2 players in the league.
Well, listen, the Phillies are going to trade most of their players by the All-Star break if they're not in it, which they won't be. I don't think Ruiz is one of those players, though, because they're going to be changing from Cliff Lee and Cole Hamels as their starting pitchers to younger guys like Jesse Biddle and Aaron Nola, and they're going to want a catcher who,
Knows how to catch?
yeah, a good catcher, a veteran guy to teach these guys how to pitch.
Should have signed Russell Martin.
No, I don't think the Phillies want to do that, spend all that money while you're losing.
Veteran.
Number 11, Pittsburgh Pirates' own Francisco Cervelli.
Nah.
Never heard of him.
29 years
Don't really
old,
care
coming
for
over
him.
from the Yankees. Listen, he
Don't
hit
like
three.
him at all.
He only had 146 at bats last season because he missed a lot of the season with a severe right hamstring strain. But he hit 301 with a 370 on base. You look at his career numbers, he's a 278 career hitter with a 348 on base, just 688 career bats, and he is 29. So he hasn't got a lot of playing time in the bigs yet, mostly because he can't stay on the field. But this guy can hit, and he's a pretty good defensive catcher. If he could put a full season together, he could be higher on this list, but you got to see it out of him first before you do something like that.
I don't believe he's going to do much.
If he can stay healthy, there's no reason he can't hit. He already showed he can hit pretty decently. Now, not for tons of power, but he can get on base. 348 career on base percentage. I like that out of your catcher.
I know the Buccos did what they could getting him from the Yankees, but I think it's going to be kind of a mess back there for a year or two. They got, Chris Stewart, and who's the other guy? Tony, I can't throw anybody out, Sanchez.
Tony Sanchez is having a huge spring, but Cervelli looks pretty decent this spring too. I think you guys are going to be surprised. Cervelli's going to be a little bit better than you think. He's not going to be Russell Martin, but he is going to be a decent catcher. Number 10, Yasmani Grandal. 26 years old for the Dodgers, 225 average with a 327 on base last season, 15 jacks, 49 RBIs, 47 runs. He has a pretty good walk rate, 58 walks, 115 Ks, and 377 at bats. Isn't that great? But if you look in his first 2 seasons, he had 57 Ks and 49 walks in 89 games. Last season that fell off a little bit, but he has the power. He's moving over from San Diego. He has a better lineup around him in L.A. Maybe he can break out this season.
I mean, he's still young, has some growing room. I mean, I like the 15 home runs. I mean, he's always been a prospect with the bat, you know, as long as ever since he went from Cincinnati on to San Diego. I mean, he showed a little bit of promise his first season, you know, hit 8 home runs, 192 at bats.
Hit 297 with a 394 on base, too. You thought he was going to be a beast.
So, I mean, there's room to think that he could definitely improve on last year's numbers. And, I mean, and don't forget, last year really was pretty much the first time he ever really had sustained playing time in the bigs.
Yeah, 128 games played. That was a lot more than earlier in his career. But like I said, 88 games the first 2 seasons of his career. But he got to get back to that strikeout rate and walk rate he had those first 2 years to bring his average back up. And then he can have 20 home run potential, maybe 25. Number 9.
This is a fantasy sleeper here, in my opinion.
I like him.
Derek Norris,
Chuck Norris, his second cousin.
26 years old from the San Diego Padres. It's a good look. Last year he had his career at bats, about
85
385
with the Oakland A's. Yeah, now he's playing for the Padres. He had 270 with the A's last year, 361 on base, 10 jacks, 55 RBIs, and 385 at bats. His K rate's a little high, but his walk rate is great. I like him too, easy.
Yeah, this is fantasy potential.
Yeah, he has room to grow, and he has 26 jacks in 285 career games, so the power does look like it's for real. And he's going to be the number 1 catcher out in San Diego this year. He really doesn't have much competition behind him. This could be a career year for him.
I like it. I just like, because of the situation they put, that lineup is so much more stacked. They're probably pitchers are going to overlook him. He's going to see pitches this year. He's going to have a great year.
They're going all in out there in San Diego.
Yeah, they're all in. They're balls deep.
Number 8, Christian Bethancourt from the Braves. He's just 23 years old. He doesn't have huge offensive potential. He did hit 248 and 113 at bats last year. That was pretty much his MLB debut. He had 1 at bat the year before. He's an elite defensive prospect, though. He's probably going to be the best defensive catcher in the National League, and anything you get from him offensively is just going to be a bonus.
Well, A.J. Pierzynski is going to take away a little bit of his playing time.
How old's that dude?
Oldest time.
Yeah. I thought he was like 40. He's got to be getting
he's
up
old
there.
as hell. Pierzynski's probably still a little bit better of a hitter right now and where they're at in each of their points of their career, but Bethancourt was a 270 hitter in the minors, so he can hit for a decent average. He just has his on-base percentage is going to be terrible. He can't take a walk, but it's all about defense with Bethancourt, and I really like this guy, and I think it's a good catcher to have for the Braves.
Well, Atlanta's feeling our pain right now. I'm not really having a guy behind the plate that is proven, or like there's questions. Remain.
Atlanta's in a little bit of a transition.
Listen, Simmons and
Right
Bethancourt
now.
are 2 of the best defensive players in baseball, and they got both of them. So I like how their
right, well,
defense looks,
yeah,
but they
yeah.
got to get some more bats out there. You're right. They're looking pretty sad out there in Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Number 7, the Washington Nationals, Wilson Ramos. He's 27 right now. He hit 267 last year. His on-base percentage was pretty bad at 299. 11 Jackson, 341 at-bats isn't too bad. He doesn't take a walk too much. And he has trouble staying on the field, just 88 games played last year. But I like this guy. He has serious power. If he can stay on the field, it has 20 home run potential.
And
Ham bone? Didn't he hurt his ham bone or what?
What did he hurt last year? Oh, his hamate bone, yeah. Not his ham bone.
Rum ham?
Rum ham.
But that's the thing with him. He misses a lot of time each season. He's played in just 166 games over the past 2 seasons, so he needs to stay on the field. This guy can be a beast, both offensively and defensively, if he can just play 120 games.
It's a big if.
What do you know about pressure? All right, let's move on to number 6. The New York Mets, Travis d'Arnaud, another guy that has trouble staying on the field. He's just 26 years old. This is a breakout candidate. He hit 242 last year with a 302 on-base percentage, 13 home runs, and 385 at-bats. He has a pretty decent K rate and walk rate. Like I said, though, always something wrong with him. Has hurt. Through his entire minor league career, he's been injury-prone. He's just can't find a way to stay on the field.
Well, he's missed time this spring with herpes, hasn't he?
I highly doubt it. He is Chase d'Arnaud's brother.
Was he a pirate, Chase d'Arnaud?
Yes, he
I
was
was
a
wondering
pirate.
why I knew that last name. I knew we definitely didn't have the 6th best catcher
Well, d'Arnaud was a top prospect. He was a top 10 prospect for a while, and he really hasn't shown his full potential yet, but he's still young. It takes a long time for catchers. Usually they don't break out until they're 28, 29 sometimes. I think d'Arnaud can have a chance to break out at age 26, though.
I think he's going to have a nice season this year. I mean, the whole Mets team itself has improved.
I agree. They
I
need
hate
David
that
Wright.
stupid apple they have in the outfield.
It's the Big Apple,
I know what it is. That doesn't mean I don't hate it.
but it's a Big Apple.
Number 5, seasoned vet Miguel Montero, playing for the Cubs this season. He's going to be turning 32 during the season. Hit 243 last year, 13 jacks, a pretty nice 72 RBIs, 97 Ks and 489 at bats. Took a good amount of walks with 56. Played in 136 games last year. He's a good defensive catcher. His hitting ability has dropped off over the past few seasons, though.
Right now, he's almost is like a punk-ass Russell Martin in his position in the clubhouse. Seasoned veteran, behind the plate. They're going to rely on him, and I don't know what he's going to do.
Well, listen, he has some pop. Double-digit home runs 5 times in the past 6 years.
He also drives in runs, too. I mean, he still had 72 RBIs last year also. So, I mean, this is a guy, like I said, the pop, he'll drive in runs. He's good in the clutch. He's a good catcher.
And let's not forget, he got an improved lineup from last season. He had Arizona last season, who was one of the worst teams in baseball. Now he's playing with the Cubs, an up-and-coming team. So maybe he can start to hit a little bit better. Look, 2011, 282, 2012, 286, and then the past 2 seasons he hit 230 and 243 respectively. He got to get back up around 260 at least.
I think you're probably looking like around 260, maybe even 270, probably.
If he can do that, he can get back up over 15 home runs, I believe.
I think, probably looking at almost 20 home runs and 80-some RBI. I mean, and the 80 RBI is going to be realistic. I mean, the Cubs are going to hit this year.
Yeah, they got some pretty decent hitters.
So, I mean, even if Baez figures it out or whether or not he doesn't.
Yeah, but still with Rizzo, Soler, and then eventually Chris Bryant, that's still some hitting around Montero.
And they still have Starlin Castro.
Please believe. Number 4, a guy who not long ago was always number 1, a Gold Glove winner.
My favorite catcher.
Still a Gold Glove winner last season, Yadier Molina.
Yadi.
Great ball player.
Solid.
Numbers down a little bit last year with the bat. I mean, but obviously he won his Gold Glove. I mean, he had a sprained thumb, cost him significant time in the second half of the season.
Dude performs in the postseason, though.
Yeah.
Definitely, he performs all the time.
One thing surprising to me was his high was 8 home runs from 2004 to 2010, and that was really the prime of a player's career. But then in 2011, he hit 14, 22 in 2012, and 12 in 2013. So he picked his career up late.
Because he's a beast.
Started seeing it. Started feeling it.
Well, I don't think you're going to see the 22 home runs again.
No.
Those are long gone. But, I mean, realistically, from him,
The
you're
home runs are long
probably looking
gone.
at the high 280s, maybe low 290s batting average, maybe like 15 or so home runs. I mean,
That might be a little too high, too.
Yeah, I mean, if that thumb's okay and he stays healthy and he can get the plate appearances.
Yeah, but at 32 or 33, isn't his knees going to give out eventually?
That's
being
what-
behind the plate.
That's why he's at number 4. He's not going to last forever. The best days of his career are over, but he's a good enough hitter to stay in the top 5 here. Look,
Move
he
to
hit
first
282 or
base.
better 6 of the past 7 years, so he's still going to have a pretty high average
Always
for
a
you.
Gold Glove candidate. Always.
Yeah. See, I don't think he deserved it
No,
last
did he
year,
win
though.
it? He won it, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he missed time. I mean, I'm not saying he's not the best defensive catcher. I'm just saying give it to the guys like Jonathan Lucroy. He was a Gold Glove candidate. He played in 153 games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's beat.
Move on to number 3, Punxsutawney's own Devin Mesaraco.
I hate Punxsutawney, and I hate that stupid
Punx-
groundhog.
Punxsutawney's cool, man.
Well, Mesaraco really came into his own last year. 25 home runs, 80 RBI, 114 games
Played.
last year. So, I mean,
Yeah, 80 RBI and 384 bats, 25 jacks. If he could play a full season, that's huge numbers. The thing is, though, the second half of the season, he only hit 237, whereas at the first half, he was crushing the ball. So we'll have to see if he can actually repeat what he did last year or if it was just a hot start and he's more of maybe a 250 hitter. Look, his career number is 245, and I don't think 25 home runs is something that's going to be repeatable season after season. He might be able to do it here and there. I think he's more of a 20 home run hitter maxed out.
Well, I mean, the power's for real. I mean, he's a big, strong catcher. I mean, he's a little bit... The only thing that can keep his playing time down is he's a little bit subpar defensively.
Yeah, he is.
Struggles a little bit in that area of the game, and...
What I like about him, though, is he improved his walk rate, and that's always a nice thing from a hitter, and it helps him get his on-base percentage up. Look, 359 last season compared to a 315 career.
This is a guy that definitely has a lot of upside, I mean, the Cincinnati Reds lineup, could still be solid.
They need Votto to hit. Brandon Phillips is garbage.
Bounce back here from Jay Bruce would be good, too.
Yeah, Jay Bruce.
A couple weeks ago, Mesaraco took a foul ball to the face mask, got concussed. So
another concuss for Mesaraco.
So he's had a rough spring already with a concussion to the forehead.
Concussaraco.
So Concussaraco.
All right, number 2, a guy that I wanted to put number 1, but I just couldn't do it. Gold Glove candidate Jonathan Lucroy. He's 28 right now, going to be turning 29 during the season. Hit 301 last year, 373 on base, 13 jacks, 69 RBI, 73 runs, and 585 at bats. Has nearly an elite K rate, a very good walk rate. He played a bunch, 153 games played. Some of that was at first base. He's a good enough hitter where you're going to want to keep him in the lineup at first base when he can't catch. But he had a breakout year last year, too, and he was in the MVP talk.
Yeah, until that late Brewers slide last season. I mean, He was one of the mainstays of the lineup. Always been very, very, very consistent.
Don't they have a slide in the outfield, too? That was pretty clever there. 47. I liked it.
Yeah, the Brewers
slide.
The Brewer. I wonder, does he have a liter of beer whenever he's going down that slide?
I think he does.
He should. I would.
He's like stone cold. He just sprays it all over the place and chugs it and gives people the finger.
That's what helps him slide down.
I was going to say, he can just pour it down the slide.
He pees himself when he's real drunk and just goes right on down.
Okay, anyway, getting back to Lucroy.
I thought we were talking about Lucroy.
We are talking about... Well, we were talking about beer going down the slide.
Well, I thought Lucroy was the one peeing down the slide, is my point.
Wait, so he's peeing beer?
Probably.
Oh, that's a lot of beer.
But he's hit double-digit home runs each of the past 4 years. 18 was a career high in 2013.
Steroids.
What, in 2013 he was doing steroids? With Ryan Braun.
Yeah. Everybody's doing steroids.
I really like Lucroy, though. This is one of my favorite players in baseball. He can get on base. He can hit for a high average. He has pretty decent pop.
He's a Brewer. I hate the Brewers.
Yeah.
Love him.
All right, let's move on to number 1. Go ahead, 47. This is your guy.
Why am I not allowed to love
This is
the
my
Brewers?
guy. This is one of my favorite players in the game, Buster Posey.
22 jacks, 89 RBI, 72 runs, and 547 at bats. Always over 300. Hit 311 last year. 308 career with a 374 career on base. Played in at least 147 games each of the past 3 seasons. He's a beast. The one thing I will say, though, he did improve his K rate to become an elite K rate, but his walk rate also declined over the past 3 seasons.
Until his K rate goes up, I mean, I really wouldn't be too concerned about that.
Definitely not.
I mean, the 22 home runs were only a couple off of his career high at 24 a couple years ago. I mean, and the only year he didn't have double-digit home runs was the year he missed all that time on the DL. He played just 45 games.
Yeah, out of the past 5 years, he had double-digit home runs 4 times. So he is a monster. Buster Posey, still number 1 catcher, unfortunately.
That's why the Giants are world champs. Well, let's break it down. 47, right. What do you got for us?
15, we got our spring training battle. Tuffy Gosewisch. Gosewisch.
Tuffy to say.
That's it.
That's a very toughy to say.
That's it.
And Gerald Laird, I mean, look for them to be pushed by Peter O'Brien and maybe even Oscar Hernandez.
Who's hurt, so don't expect that push.
So, I mean, number 14, we're going to Jarrod Saltalmacchia.
13, a threesome of Fort McKenry, Wilin who?
Wilin Rosario.
Wilin Rosario and Nick Hundley. Dudes are garbage.
No, they're not garbage. I like all 3 of those catchers in different ways. Number 12, a seasoned vet, Carlos Ruiz.
Number 11, everybody's favorite catcher in the burg, Francisco Cervelli.
Number 10, a guy who got to show what he showed his rookie season, Yasmani Grandal.
Looks like Grandal.
Number 9, potential sleeper, Derek Norris.
Hard sleeper.
Number 8, one of the best defensive catchers in baseball, still very young at 23, Christian Bethancourt.
Big gun.
Number 7, a guy who needs to stay on the field and he has elite potential for a catcher, Wilson Ramos.
Number 6, Canadian Travis D'Arnaud.
Darno.
TDA.
Breakout candidate. Number 5, coming from Arizona
Double M.
to the Cubs, Miguel Montero. Number 4, Gold Glove winner last season, telling off a little bit, Yadier Molina.
The beast from the southeast.
YM.
Number 3, Punxsutawney's own Devin Mesaraco.
Number 2, my favorite catcher in baseball, Jonathan Lucroy.
I hate him.
Number 1, my favorite catcher in baseball, Buster Posey.
Garbage.
Garbage. he
No, they're
says.
solid players.
Solid
get
major
around.
leaguers. Solid major
Get
leaguers.
around. We love you, Russell.
Well, that wraps up our NL catcher segment. Thank you guys for coming in studio. Thank you, fans, for listening. You fans can follow us on Twitter at bet_the_spread. Follow me on Twitter at betjimthewin. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe to that YouTube channel. We cracked the 80 subscriber mark. We're heading for 100 fast, and we want to get there by the end of the week, so make it happen.